Okay, so Brandon Simmons here. I just want to explain a little bit about how to make a logical offer. And I think a lot of us get confused because we get super analytical and we want to over explain a lot of things to the seller. And we make it a lot more difficult for us as, as an investor trying to get a deal under contract. So let me explain some basic principles and some things. Number one, you need to understand the why. Why is this seller selling? What is the problem they are having? Focus on being solution oriented and how you can help them first. So always find out their why. Okay. You need to know why they are selling. What's the reasons? What's the pain points? See if there's a solution that you may have already before you even go into any negotiations. Okay, next, in order to help make a logical offer, you need to get the buy-in on the three lowest comps, okay? You should always go on every appointment with three comparables that are the lowest in the area. Make sure they're real comparables. Be authentic, be realistic, have integrity. I mean, it needs to be within 10% of the subject matter square footage. It needs to be within that same neighborhood or within a half a mile of the property if possible. And they need to have been sold within the last 6 months. I always say also, if it's a single story house, have a single story comp. If it's a 2-story house, have a 2-story comp. You may have to adjust depending on pools and other amenities like that, but bring the three lowest comps. Get the buy-in on the three lowest comps, okay? Next, you want to think of, what do I need to do to make this property, this house, HGTV ready for 2019 standards? Okay, so we need to know about renovations and repairs. Now, I'm not saying you need to be a contractor or anything like that, but you need to understand that there is a cost to painting a house. Most houses, if they've been lived in for any length of time, probably need a new paint job on the inside, probably even on the exterior. And a lot of times you probably need new flooring. Maybe the carpet's old. Maybe you need to have tile flooring to make it updated. Maybe you need to get rid of the vinyl flooring that's in there. So you need to understand some basics. And I have a basic property repair sheet to help with that. Okay, so get the buy-in on the three lowest comps. Think about what it needs to have a property HGTV ready, okay? And use a property repair sheet. Okay. And that will start you on the path. You need to also make sure as you're doing that, this is getting yourself to a logical offer, okay? Something that makes sense, because they're starting with the three lowest comps, you're starting with renovations and repairs, and then you need to do some educating. You need to let the seller know that whenever they go to list a property, that they don't necessarily get full listing price. In fact, it may take a couple months to sell a property, and in most markets, there's something called a list, a price to list ratio. Basically, if you list a price at $100,000, you may get an offer at $96,000. So that means there may be a 4%, in some markets 5 or 3 or whatever it is, a 4% list to price ratio. Sorry about the handwriting here. But just basically, you know that they're not going to get full market price, okay? You need to also help them understand that what they net at the end is not necessarily what the list price is, right? Because what they're going to net on a regular listing is they're going to lose typically 6% on commissions, right? Oops. Okay, so there's always real estate commissions. There is closing costs. We'll call that 2% in closing costs. Okay, anytime you close with an attorney or a title agency, there's title insurance and there's other expenses involved in the closing as well. And then there's also something called concessions. A lot of times whenever a buyer buys a property, they need help with their closing costs. Or maybe there's some basic repairs that they need done that maybe you have to do the repairs before you close, or maybe you give them a concession. So let's just call that 2% as well. So 6 plus 2 plus 2 is 4%. Okay, I mean 6 plus 2 plus 2 is 10%. Sorry, someone write concessions here. So a good cost of sale, I mean a good rule of thumb is a 10% cost of sale, just right off the bat. So if you get them to buy in on the 3 lowest comps, you help them understand that there is a list to price ratio, okay, and that there's a cost of sale. So let's just call this a $100,000 property, okay. That price that they actually agree upon, let's say that's $96,000, okay. And then if there's a 10% cost of sale, that's $9,600 right off the bat, okay. And so right off of there, I mean we're basically right 86,400, something like that. So their net before we even start is at 86,400, okay, on something like this. This is just a real basic, simple scenario. So we got them to buy in the lowest comps. We help them understand the list to price ratio. We help them understand the cost of sale. They know we need to make a profit, and they know that there's some renovations. So that's where you start digging down here. So if you don't start with the 3 lowest comps, you're running an uphill battle. If you don't use a proper repair sheet or some sort of net sheet to help the seller see what the actual net that they're going to get, you're also running an uphill battle. So just use some of these tools to your advantage. Help the seller understand that there is a cost to selling a property, a cost of time, a cost of money. You are here to solve a problem. You are here to give a solution to their problem. And the way you do that is you got to find out what that big problem is or what the solution that you can offer is, and then you can go through and walk them down this scenario. If you start at the highest ARV and the highest comps and you're trying to backtrack everything from there, you are shooting yourself in the foot. You're making this much harder on yourself. So make it simple, okay? Very simple. Start off with the 3 lowest comps, a basic property repair sheet, and then help them understand what they will net whenever they list the property versus what you can net to them if they sell to you on a much faster scenario. So I hope this helps. Let me know if there's anything I can help you with, and have a great day.